You're listening to the Thriving Mindfully podcast. I'm Ananda Leeke, your Thriving Mindfully coach and podcast host. I'm also an artist, an author, a human design doula, and an interfaith reverend. The Thriving Mindfully podcast is a heart-centered, digital sacred space that I created to inspire and empower you to be present, well, and the real you. Tune into the latest conversation I've been having with myself and others about nurturing, transforming, and celebrating our lives, relationships, and career. Have you ever started your day where you wake up in the morning with so many thoughts in your head about what you need to do, how to do it, and when to do it? And then you find your inner critic jumping in and starting to raise holy hell and creating mind drama, getting you riled up, telling you that you've got too much to do, how are you going to do it, pressuring you. Has that ever happened to you? Well, let me tell you. My inner critic that I call Broomhilda, she has a nickname, Broomy, because over the years we've gotten better at relating to each other. So this happened to me earlier this week. I woke up with, it seemed like my to-do list for the entire year in my head, and alarms going off about what was due, what needed to be done, how to do it, and when to do it. And in the midst of that tornado of thoughts, my inner critic, Broomy, starts to raise holy hell by judging me and criticizing me and pressuring me and telling me there's no way you can do this. You got to do this. You got to do that. And that is where the mind drama started to just take over. And I was about to jump into my day with stress and busyness, and I was forgetting to ground myself. So for me, this has happened millions of times. And over the years, I am learning. You hear me say I am learning because it's an ongoing process. I'm learning to respond in a different way to my inner critic, Broomy, when she gets stirred up and when all of these thoughts and the tornado of pressure and stress try to take my morning, my afternoon, my evening, or any moment in my day. And this is what I decided to do. And I find that it has worked with my inner critic. I acknowledged what she was trying to tell me. I acknowledged it. I said, I hear you, Broomy. I see you, Broomy. I may label it holy hell, but I see you. And I see the mind drama. And before I do anything, I want you to know that I hear you and I see you. Because that's really all my inner critic wanted me to do. And that's all Broomy ever wants, is to be seen and to be heard. Not necessarily to take action, but to be seen and to heard. That's why she's showing out. She's showing off like a little kid in a temper tantrum. And so once I did that, I recognized that when that stuff happens, before I do anything, I need to be soft with myself. And so this is where the intentional softness comes in. I have learned the hard way sometimes that when my inner critic jumps up and down and is having the mind drama go on in my head, that this is an invitation for me to practice intentional softness. And so what do I mean by that? Intentional softness is choosing. It's a choice to be in a place inside of myself where I slow down. That's the S in soft. And the O is offer myself. The F in soft is freedom, and then the T is today. So I slow down and offer myself freedom today. And that freedom is an act. It requires me to practice my birthrights of self-love and self-care with just one thing, one thing. It could be simply a deep breath or a series of deep breaths. It could be a hug. These are some of my go-tos, especially when I get riled up by my inner critic in my head and I have a lot of pressure on me. It's several deep breaths, because when I breathe deeply, I'm sending a message to my body and to my nervous system to calm down. Because what has happened with all those thoughts, with the criticism, the judgment, and even the shame and the blame from my inner critic, what happens is my nervous system gets out of whack. And I get triggered in some instances. And, I'm off and running. And there's no space for me to be grounded, for me to be present. I'm all in the past or all in the future, or sometimes both. So taking some deep breaths to calm my body down, because what we're talking about is the energy, we're all energy beings. And so managing my energy with intentional softness is a way for me to get grounded so that I can make decisions in a centered space within me. So I also mentioned a hug. A hug is my go-to, because when I hug myself for 20 seconds or more, and I want you to try this, when you hug yourself for 20 seconds or more, you're sending a message to your body through the oxytocin hormone of love and the serotonin hormone of happiness and feel goodness. I just kind of made that one up. But yeah, the oxytocin love hormone and the feel good serotonin hormone together, I like to call them your super self-care powers, because together they reduce the cortisol, the stress hormone in your body. So taking a deep breath or several deep breaths, hugging yourself for 20 seconds or more, maybe even journaling, writing it out. I know of late I've started writing soft notes each morning. Last year in 2022, I started writing love notes to myself, and that was a way for me to connect. Most days there were some days I missed, but it gave me a chance to have a moment to write down what's going on in my spirit, my heart, my mind, and my body, and to remind myself that I'm loved, to know that I'm loved, and that I'm supported by my Creator, by my loving, wise, and well ancestors, by a circle of family and friends that I feel safe with. Yeah. So the soft notes I just started a few days ago, because this tornado of mind drama reminded me, hey, you need to get back into this practice of clearing your mind, either in the morning or sometimes it's in the mid-morning or the afternoon or the evening, but to clear your mind with a soft note. And a soft note is just a reminder that your birthright of self-love and self-care guarantee you intentional softness. You got to choose it. And so writing that soft note to myself, I just say, hey, love. And then I share what may be going on. And I remind myself that I deserve to be soft and that I am grateful that I have the soft note to remind myself. And I celebrate, with myself, that in writing that soft note, I have in fact been soft. Slow down and offer myself freedom today. With that freedom, with that soft note. Sometimes I go through the deep breathing, I hug myself, and I write myself that soft note. The other thing I wanted to say about intentional softness is that intentional softness comes from recognizing that you can play, you can have joy with intentional softness. Intentional softness is carving out some time to be with yourself, to slow down and offer yourself freedom today. And that freedom could be playing, having fun. It could be taking a nap. It could be fixing your favorite food. It could be sipping some hot water. I know I've got to drink more water. I've not been on top of my water intake as I have in the past. So I'm just really mindful these days about making sure that I get my water. And that's being soft. It's self-care and self-love. It's celebrating yourself. I know recently I was invited to do a art and book talk at a local store that has supported me for the last 30-something years in my creativity as an African-American woman artist. And Zawadi is a fabulous store on U Street in DC, in my neighborhood. And the owner, Irene Whalen, and I met back in 1992 when she first opened her store. And I have been both a patron of the store, a client, a customer of the store, if that's the best way to say it. And I have also been mentored and shaped by Irene in her support of my creativity, whether it was with my artwork, my poetry, my novel, my 2 memoirs. She's always supported me and helped me expand what is possible in my life in terms of travel. She was one of the people that when I decided to go to Senegal for the first time in 94, she was jumping up and down, cheering me on, and has always been there. And I mention Irene because being soft, intentional softness, is making sure that you're surrounded by people who support you, who are behind you, who tell you the truth. I mean, I can do a number of shout outs. It's Women's History Month, and I want to say that there are so many powerful women, including my mom and my Sigma Gamma Rho sorority sister, Teresa B. Leeke, who stands with me and beside me and supporting me and telling me the truth when I need to hear it. It's important to have a community, a safe community, a sacred community around you. That's intentional softness. The other women that I want to give a shout out to are my Sigma Gamma Rho sorority sister, Kamaria T. Richmond. Oh, we have known each other since 1987 when she joined the organization and was a student at University of Maryland. And I was in law school at Howard University School of Law. And we have grown in these 3, almost 4 decades of friendship, of soul sister love-ship, of being sorority sisters. It has been amazing. KT has been able to, I call Kamaria KT, she's been able to reach me when others haven't. We've been on the same spiritual, emotional, personal development path for decades and have supported each other. And the one thing that I appreciate about Kamaria is her prayer power. She is a phenomenal prayer warrior. And Kamaria is light and love. And it's important for me to have people like Kamaria in my world and in my life. Another person that I want to give a shout out to that has been an awesome source of family support is my cousins Gail Garton and Brianne Martin. These two are amazing women, and we share the same blood. And to be able to talk to them, especially during the pandemic, woo, let me tell you, being out here and having to just try to manage things without seeing people, having them check up on me, having conversations with them, and then being able to spend time talking and listening and having them listen to me. They're more than cousins. They're soul sister loves. So having women around that get me, that understand me, that can tell me the truth, it's priceless. Another person I want to give a shout out to is my soul sister love and fellow African-American artist, Tanya Butler Truesdale. Tanya and I have known each other for decades, and we were shaped and mentored by some of the same African-American women entrepreneurs who had and currently have businesses on U Street. And we have known each other for a long time, and we reconnected during the pandemic. We would both go to the same cafe and run into each other, and we started hanging out and walking and chatting and sharing stories about our lives and our creativity. And then fast forward, I started learning to play tennis, and she had years of tennis ahead of me, but agreed to meet me and play in the mornings. And then we started walking this past winter and sharing and just having moments of conversation about being 58, being lawyers, being daughters of very strong Scorpio women, being health advocates for our parents, what it's like to just create art from a place of ancestral connection and spirituality. Having her around has inspired me in my own creativity. So intentional softness is making sure that you have people in your life that feed your soul, Another person I want to give a shout out to is to Tony Dutton Butler. Tony, I've adopted Tony as an adopted godmother of sorts. And Tony is a soul sister love that I met through the work my dad has done in diversity. And she's seen me grow from a young woman to now to a 58-year-old. And Tony and I have had so many conversations and moments of sharing and shopping and enjoying food and walking and talking that really you want to have somebody tell you the truth. She is one of my truth tellers, as well as one of my my greatest sources of inspiration and wisdom. And there's so much more, that I could say. So it's really important for me to be surrounded by inspiring, truth-telling, loving, comforting, fun, spiritual people with positive energy. Another person I want to give a shout out to is my soul sister love, Tracy Mickens Hunley. Tracy and I have known each other since we came back from the UN Fourth World Conference on Women in China in 1995. That's a while. That's been a while. And Tracy has always supported my creativity, my whole boho Black American princess living. And when I've thought sometimes I'm crazy, Tracy has said, "No, Mad." She knows me as Madeline. "No, Mad, you are living." And she's also been able to tell me the truth about myself. And so having Tracy in my life has been another blessing. There are so many other folks, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm giving shout outs to different women that have been around me and that are around me. And if I missed you, please know that it's not because I don't appreciate you. It's just that I cannot spend 2,000 years on the podcast giving shout outs. I will find another way. But know that you have poured into me. All of these amazing women have poured into me and helped me stay grounded in this practice of intentional softness. And I hope that the examples that I've given in terms of how to recognize intentional softness in your life, in your relationships, in your career, help you begin to see where you have it and where you need it. Intentional softness is the result of what happens when you make a choice to claim and practice your birthright of self-love and self-care. When you decide to slow down and offer yourself freedom today with your self-love and self-care commitment, and you actually practice it, you're creating intentional softness. So with that, I invite you to get down with the get down of being intentionally soft with yourself. You can use one of the 1,440 minutes that you get each and every day simply by choosing right here, right now, to be intentionally soft with yourself, with your breath. So let's make your breath your BFF in this moment, right where you are. Just take a moment to get still. And then become aware of how the body feels resting on the surface, whether you're standing, seated in a chair, a bed, a sofa, whether you're laying down. Just notice how the body feels resting on the surface. And then tuning into your breath, just noticing the breath as it moves in and out of your body. Maybe placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And then becoming aware of the breath as it fills up the belly as you inhale. And then as you exhale through your mouth, noticing how the breath feels as it relieves itself, as it moves from the mouth into the air. Just noticing your breath. And remembering that this breath is the breath of life. Every time you breathe deeply, you are saying to yourself, I am soft. I am soft. I am soft. Now give yourself a deep and juicy hug. Maybe even rock back and forth. Maybe count to 20 or 30 so that you give yourself the 20 seconds. Because when you hug yourself for 20 seconds, you are activating the oxytocin, the love hormone, and the feel-good hormone of serotonin. And together they reduce the cortisol hormone of stress in your body. All right. Well, I'd love to know how you are doing with your practice of intentional softness. I'd love to know how you go about that and if you need help. I also love to know when you practice intentional softness with the commitment to surround yourself by a safe and sacred community of people. Who are some of those people? Who are some of those women that are around you, since we're in Women's History Month? Wherever you find this podcast, leave me a note or send me a direct mail, DM me on Instagram or TikTok or LinkedIn or YouTube. Those are the places you can find me. See you next time. Bye. Can you believe that we are in 2023, that we moved through the pandemic in 2020, 2021, 2022? If you're like me, the COVID-19 pandemic changed how you lived, how you communicated, how you learned, how you worked, how you shopped, how you played, how you did business in the world. So much has happened since then. So much continues to happen. One of the best ways that you can move through these changes and more is to remind yourself that you matter, that you're worthy, that you are the most important person in your life. That's right. If you didn't know it, I'm here to tell you. You deserve to make yourself a priority. And one of the ways that you can take action to make yourself a priority is with a retreat. A retreat helps you carve out time and space and take responsibility for yourself. When you take responsibility for yourself, you begin to see your full self. Here's what happens when you get support during a retreat. You have someone like myself to hold space for you, to guide you in giving yourself an opportunity to take responsibility for identifying your vulnerabilities, your challenges, your wins, and your losses, and so much more. A retreat with support can also help you set intentions and create accountability, plans, and shifts and how you choose to show up in your life, your relationships, your career, and your business. If this sounds like something that might be of interest to you, I want to invite you to the spring virtual retreat that I'm offering on 2 days in April. April 18th, which is a Tuesday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on Saturday, April 22nd, from 2 to 3:30 p.m. Your investment is $43. Now let me tell you, during the retreat, you're going to have a chance to get grounded with a mindful moment. That's deep breathing and a little mindful movement. I'm only inviting you to move your body in the way that works best for you. Also during the retreat, you'll be able to identify the areas that you need to take responsibility for in your life during the spring season, because spring starts in March and we have April, May, and June until we get to the first day of summer, the summer solstice, to explore how you can take responsibility for those areas in your life that are calling you now. You're going to get some support on how to take responsibility for yourself through wisdom that I'm pulling from you in an activity that is going to get you to contact your internal wisdom. You may get that internal wisdom from your higher power, from your ancestors. I'm going to share some wisdom about the season of spring, the moon, and astrology. Not saying that you have to take any of that in, but I'm giving it as a buffet of ways for you to take responsibility. You're going to experience a mini sound bath meditation performed by yours truly that will help you open your heart to embrace the fresh starts of the spring season, the new beginnings that spring brings. You're also going to participate in an intention setting and action planning series of exercises that invite you to reflect, to journal, and to draw. I'm asking folks to dress comfortably during this virtual retreat, to bring their favorite pens, pencils, colored pencils, crayons, magic marker, and paper to draw on if you feel like you might draw, and also a snack, because we'll be together for 90 minutes. A Zoom video link will be emailed to you once you register for the online retreat. You can go to anandaleeke.com/retreat to get more details. I will see you in the spring virtual retreat. Spring is coming. Spring is coming. Spring is coming. If you're listening to this in March of 2023, spring is coming. Or maybe it's sprung by the time you've heard this. Let me tell you, the Thriving Mindfully Academy is getting ready to take action. We're preparing to take action. We're looking at how we can tap into our inner resources, how we can access what we've been given inside of ourselves with the support of our higher power, if you believe in a higher power, our loving, wise, and well ancestors, our spirit guides, master teachers, and angels, if you tap into all of that. For me, it's also my Yoruba Orisha. So I bring all of those spiritual entities into my source of how I'm able to prepare and to take action as this new season enters into our lives. I want to invite you, if you're in the DC area, to come to the Thriving Mindfully Academy's Soft as Fuck session on March 26th from 2 to 3 p.m. at Key Crotone CBDT, 1517 U Street, Northwest in DC. The investment is $23. You can go to anandaleeke.com/soft. It is an afternoon of meditation, reflection, some sound healing with yours truly, my Koshi chimes, my ocean drum, my sound bowls will make an appearance to help get us grounded in our meditation. It is an invitation to journal, to set intentions, and to share if you feel called to in a safe community. We're looking at how we can prepare and take action as we move into the spring season. The spring equinox is on March the 20th, and we're meeting on the 26th of March to welcome the spring and to look at how we can prepare and take action from the inside out. So join me. One of the ways that I've been able to prepare myself and to take action from a grounded place in my body, in my breath, in my life is through human design. Human design is an amazing self-empowerment, and it's IN-POWERMENT, empowerment, because it's from the inside out. It's a self-empowerment and self-discovery tool that was introduced to me in 2021 through a coaching experience. And over the past 2 years, I have experimented with it and integrated it into my life, my relationships, and my career and my business. And it is a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong experiment. I am now bringing it into a space where I'm offering it to folks like you to support you in preparing yourself and taking action in your life, your relationships, and your career and business. It marries my Thriving Mindfully, heart-centered approach to being present well in the real you. And I use it with my coaching clients. I use it with the Thriving Mindfully Academy members. And now I want to invite you to explore it with me as your human design doula. In human design, you are called to give birth, if you will, to yourself, the real you. And we do that every single day. We do it every single moment. We get 1,440 minutes each and every day. And in each minute, you're birthing yourself. I mean, you're always changing. You're always growing. And so in order to navigate that process, I'm here acting as a doula, someone who can midwife you through this experience, help you understand what human design is based on where you are in your life, help you take the parts of human design that resonate with you the most, because at different times different things resonate with us, and help you understand it, help you see how you can use it as a tool to connect with your own body's awareness and wisdom. If you're interested, I want to invite you to visit my website. Go to anandaleeke.com/human design to learn more about how we can work together. I offer 2 types of readings. There's a basic reading, and then there's a more advanced reading once you have an understanding of human design. Check it out. There's also a video that walks you through my own human design experience and gives you some basic information about human design. There are other podcast episodes for the Thriving Mindfully podcast that you can check out. Just go to anandaleeke.com/podcast, or wherever you find this podcast, you can look and see in the archive the human design episodes. So I look forward to connecting with you more about human design. Thanks for tuning in to the Thriving Mindfully podcast. If you're ready to be inspired and empowered with my coaching support, join me in the Thriving Mindfully Academy. Visit anandaleeke.com/academy. Now, if you're ready to dive deeper and move past your comfort zone with my one-on-one coaching program, book a discovery call with me today. Visit anandaleeke.com. If you need something juicy to read, check out my 3 mindfulness books: Love's Troubadours, a self-love and yoga-inspired novel; That Which Awakens Me, a mindful creativity memoir; and Digital Sisterhood, a mindful technology memoir. Go to anandaleeke.com/books. All of my books are available on Amazon.com. Well, that about wraps us up. And as I always like to say, may we all continue to embrace thriving mindfully in everything that we think, feel, say, and do. See you next time.